you think you know McDonald's. The golden arches, the Big Mac, the fries that could practically perfume a car ride. For decades, it wasn't just a fast food chain. It was a cultural landmark, an unspoken symbol of comfort and Americana. But something's changed. The same place that once defined convenience and affordability is now quietly losing the very people who built its empire. Because somewhere along the way, McDonald's stopped being McDonald's, and millions are finally walking away. It's easy to miss at first. You drive past that familiar sign, still bright, still promising, still claiming billions served. But step inside, and it's not what it used to be. Gone are the reds and yellows that once made you feel like you'd stumbled into a carnival. In their place, you find gray walls, sterile lights, and chairs that feel like they were borrowed from a corporate seminar. The hum of kids laughing has been replaced by the buzz of touchscreen kiosks. And instead of that comforting chaos of people sharing fries and stories, you hear silence. That's not nostalgia talking. That's reality. It began in 2017 when McDonald's executives decided to modernize America. They called it the experience of the future. The goal was sleek, efficient, digital. Billions of dollars later, they got what they wanted. Every store began to look the same. Clean, minimalist, soulless. But what they didn't expect was what they lost in the process. Customer satisfaction plummeted. McDonald's now ranks dead last among major fast food chains for happiness. They spent billions to make people less happy. That's not progress. That's a corporate tragedy dressed in stainless steel. Once upon a time, walking into McDonald's was like stepping into your childhood. The smell of fries, the clatter of trays, the squeal of sneakers on tile floors. It wasn't just a meal, it was a memory, a reward after soccer practice, a family night when money was tight. But now it feels transactional, cold, mechanical, like they traded laughter for logistics. The tables might be cleaner, but the soul? Gone. And it's not just the vibe that's changed, it's the value. There was a time when McDonald's built its empire on affordability. You could feed a family without breaking a 20. Today, you might need to check your credit score before ordering a Big Mac combo. That same meal that once cost under $5, in some places it's $10 for a paper box and fries that taste more like regret than nostalgia. When McDonald's starts competing with sit-down diners on price, you know something's broken. The company blames inflation. But inflation didn't redesign their restaurants into waiting rooms. Inflation didn't swap out charm for chrome. Inflation didn't decide that an efficient ordering system mattered more than a friendly cashier. No, that was corporate strategy, a decision to chase image over experience. They wanted to be Starbucks with burgers. Instead, they became a coffee shop that forgot the coffee. And customers noticed, especially the ones who mattered most, working families, the middle and lower income base that built McDonald's into a global giant. The same people who used to pull up to the drive-thru after a long day, knowing they'd get something fast, cheap, and familiar. Now they see the prices, do the math, and head home instead. A recent survey shows 85% of Americans are cooking more to save money. Not because they've suddenly become health nuts, but because McDonald's stopped being the cheap option it once promised to be. But it's not just about cost, it's about trust. For decades, McDonald's sold more than burgers. They sold reliability. A Big Mac in Ohio was the same as a Big Mac in Oregon. A Filet-O-Fish in 1995 tasted the same as one in 2005. But somewhere between quarterly reports and cost-cutting meetings, the flavors started to vanish. Those golden fries that used to make your mouth water? Now they're either limp, hard, or strangely artificial. The burgers? Once juicy and satisfying, now spongy, smaller, and often cold by the time you unwrap them. Longtime fans call it the McMystery Meat effect, the taste you can't quite identify, but definitely don't crave. Food critics will tell you it's all about the ingredients. McDonald's used to brag about 100% beef patties and fresh oil for every fry batch. But reports of preservatives, processed fillers, and shelf life extending shortcuts have chipped away at that promise. What used to be fast food now feels like factory food. When the product starts tasting like a science experiment, customers don't just lose appetite, they lose faith. And faith, once lost, doesn't return easily, especially when the very experience of eating there feels empty. Walk into a modern McDonald's during lunch hour, and you might find yourself alone. The booths are empty, the hum of conversation gone. Instead of friendly employees taking your order, there's a glowing screen that greets you with a cold tap to begin. Sure, it's efficient, but it's also robotic. It's like trying to have a conversation with your printer. You miss the human moments, the cashier who remembered your name, the manager who'd sneak your kid an extra toy. Those interactions were the heartbeat of the brand. Now it's all algorithms and automation. The irony? McDonald's calls this progress, but to millions of loyal customers, it feels like betrayal. The restaurants don't feel like gathering places anymore. They feel like pit stops. And people don't build emotional connections to pit stops. They pass through, forget, and move on. The numbers prove it. In early 2025, McDonald's traffic dropped 3.6% worldwide and more than 6% in the US, its sharpest decline since the pandemic. That's not a blip. That's a shift. Millions of people who once ate there weekly have stopped showing up. And you can't fix that with an app update or a 2-week McRib comeback tour. Speaking of the McRib, nostalgia has become McDonald's last defense. They keep reaching into the vault, dusting off old favorites like the McRib or Grimace Shake, hoping to spark emotion. But nostalgia only works when there's still love left. You can't rebuild loyalty on limited time gimmicks. It's like trying to patch a leaking roof with old birthday photos. It might make you smile, but won't stop the rain. Ask anyone over 40 what McDonald's meant to them, and you'll see it, the flicker of memory. Birthday parties under those golden arches, the smell of fries on a road trip, the sound of ice clinking in a paper cup while your Happy Meal toy sat proudly on the tray. It wasn't gourmet food, it was comfort, consistency, a slice of joy you could afford. But today's generation doesn't see that. To them, McDonald's is just another overpriced fast food chain with a menu that changes too often and service that feels too impersonal. The magic that once defined the arches has been sterilized into extinction. The question is, how did we get here? How did the most iconic restaurant in the world lose the very soul that made it matter? The answer is simple. They stopped serving people and started serving metrics. The shift wasn't overnight. It was quarter by quarter, PowerPoint by PowerPoint. Every decision designed to optimize margins chipped away at the experience that made those margins possible in the first place. The play places disappeared. The smiles went with them. And by the time anyone realized what was gone, the customers were too. When a brand like McDonald's forgets why it existed in the first place, no amount of corporate polish can bring it back. You can redesign the buildings, update the app, and roll out self-ordering screens. But you can't automate warmth. You can't digitize nostalgia. And you sure can't charge $10 for it. The company insists it's adapting to modern tastes, healthier menus, tech integration, elevated dining environments. But that's not what people asked for. Nobody wanted McDonald's to be modern. They wanted it to be McDonald's. There's a difference between evolving and erasing. And McDonald's, in its race to stay relevant, erased itself. Meanwhile, competitors have learned from their mistakes. Chains like Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out have held on to their identity. Simple menus, friendly service, and consistency. They don't chase trends. They reinforce trust. And that's why, while McDonald's loses foot traffic, these brands keep growing. Because people crave authenticity more than novelty. Then, there's the financial reality. When economic anxiety rises, people cut luxuries. Fast food used to be recession-proof. But now, with Big Mac combos nearing $12 in some cities, it's officially crossed into luxury fast food. And that's an oxymoron no one asked for. When a family realizes $20 can buy groceries for a home-cooked meal instead of 2 burgers and fries, the decision makes itself. There's also the psychological shift. During the pandemic, people rediscovered cooking, not out of choice, but survival. And they found something McDonald's can't replicate: control. Control over ingredients, over health, over cost. Once people taste that control, it's hard to go back to mystery meat patties wrapped in paper. So yes, people are walking away. Not out of anger, but indifference. And that's far worse, because anger means you still care. Indifference means you've moved on. McDonald's didn't just lose customers, it lost cultural relevance. The golden arches used to represent joy, childhood, affordability. Now they represent overpricing, overprocessing, and overbranding. That's not evolution. That's extinction disguised as progress. Every few months, McDonald's tries to reignite the spark. A celebrity meal here, a retro ad campaign there. But the truth is, you can't market your way back into people's hearts. Especially when the very thing you're selling, happiness, has been stripped down to efficiency metrics and kiosk screens. The saddest part, it didn't have to be this way. The McDonald's legacy was built on simplicity. Good food, fair price, fast service, and a smile. The formula wasn't broken, but Wall Street doesn't reward simple. It rewards scalable. so the company scaled its way out of authenticity. And now, after decades of being everywhere, McDonald's is slowly becoming invisible. Look around. Families that once celebrated birthdays there now choose local diners. Teenagers who once hung out there now order online or gather at coffee shops. The drive-through lines are shorter, but so is the loyalty. McDonald's once symbolized unity, a place everyone, regardless of class or background, could share a meal under the same golden glow. Today, it's just another corporate logo competing for attention in a world that stopped paying attention. The irony is brutal. In chasing modernization, McDonald's made itself forgettable. The more it tried to look upscale, the less it felt special. The more it tried to act like a tech company, the less it acted like a community hub. The arches still stand, but the meaning beneath them has faded. And maybe that's the real story. Not the food, not the prices, not the apps, but the disappearance of something bigger. The loss of warmth, familiarity, and comfort in a world that's constantly speeding up. McDonald's wasn't just selling burgers, it was selling belonging. And somewhere between the spreadsheets and the touch screens, it forgot how. So when analysts ask why millions are walking away, the answer isn't complicated. It's human. People don't crave efficiency.